What is up, guys? My name is Sam World, and in today's video we're going to discuss tips for making better, more interesting, more exciting tech house bass lines so the crowd dances and they don't go to the bar and get a Corona. With that being said, let's make a quick one here. So I have a little loop here from the Deceiver stuff you can find over at evilsounds.com if you want to support the channel. And we're just going to make probably a bass line that most of you guys make, which utilizes the semitone up and pretty much around the root note, which will be D sharp for us. Okay, so a very standard sort of tech house bass line, which you guys probably have heard over and over again. But the idea here is that we want to make this a lot more exciting. So how can we do that? Well, the first step I have for you is probably the simplest out of the bunch, and it's probably the one you already know, but don't click out of the video because we're going to have more. And this is going to be octave jumps. Now, octave jumps are very easy to implement, and anyone I feel like has done them in their lifetime. But the trick with octave jumps, in my opinion, is to be sparing with them. Don't become the one-trick pony guy. Learn how to do a kickflip, and you just keep showing your friends. Eventually the magic fades away, and it gets kind of annoying. So octave jumps will usually occur at the end of a bar where you might have something like, and you want to emphasize that change, like, you know, I'm a badass, I went up one semitone, so you go up an octave, but it sounds cool, there's nothing wrong with it. And then from there, as you're doing that, you might decide, okay, as I do that, I can also bring the cutoff up so that melody just pops out a little bit more. So we're going to do that by just adding an automation. But the cool thing is I can also change a bass line so it only does it on certain parts, or maybe every 0.3. And again, we're just going to copy the modulation. But again, you can see as you overdo it, it kind of just sounds like over time. So octave jumps are cool, but again, keep them to a minimum. Second tip to get your bass lines to sound more exciting in your tracks or better is to rondo it. Now, what I mean by this is songwriting format. A lot of songs will have A, B, A, B, and then A, B, A, C, or A, B, A, B, A, C. The C is the bridge of a song. However, we can also implement this in a micro aspect when it comes to our bass lines in order to make it more interesting. So for instance, here we have our first bar, which we can consider our A, and then we have our B, which has a variation in the sense that it doesn't have the octave jump. Then we go back to A, and then we execute the rondo, the C. And the idea of this is to create, again, variation, enough variation so it doesn't feel too much like a loop, and that C is going to be the homie just getting your back. So for instance, let's kind of go into this. We'll color this one red, we'll color this one blue. Now you know your colors, but there we go. We'll do this one red, and then we'll do the C yellow. Now, usually the C, you will hear it a lot more towards fills in tech house tracks where you have like something really cool happen. And again, that is the concept of it. So here we go. So we have our A, which we're going to leave the same. And then from here, maybe we can do a little variation to this B part. So we have our variation in the B. So now we have our C, and this is where it gets interesting because now here I can go a little bit out. And then maybe I could just have this kind of loop. And then maybe get crazy where I do an octave jump from the first tip and like go maybe up to D. And then again, we have that. So then I'm going to copy this modulation here and here just to get that. I might even lead up to it by adding something cool like this so it interacts. And then like kind of opens up and goes there. So now we have. So again, one of the things that irks me is whenever I hear this in a tech house song, which I have feedback streams where people send me stuff. So I'm always looking for people to do this, A, B, A, C, rondo it. You don't have to rondo it. It could be A, B, A, B, or it could be A, A, A. But then the things on top of the bass line are going to have to interact and have to have variation, of course, if the bass is a more supplemental factor. But that is going to be the second tip, the rondo or the A, B, A, C formula. The next tip to make your bass lines a lot more exciting and interesting to just listen to and dance to is melodic fills. And this is probably one of the harder creative techniques to utilize because you have to think of like, what can I do creatively to add melodic fills? So melodic fills, what I mean by that, it doesn't have to be a melody. It could be like a dee-da-dee-da, or like a pa-pa-pa-pa, or a pa-pa-pa-pa-pa-pa, little things like that. So for instance, let's assume we go back to our basic boring loop. Then I can create essentially a melodic fill somewhere here where maybe I'll do something like, I don't know, jump up to D and then go all the way up to A sharp. I don't know if that's going to sound good, but we'll try it. There we go. That actually sounded pretty good. Again, melodic fill. You could think of this as an art because I am using the D sharp minor scale. It's not like, you know, I just thought of it magically. It's just theory, but as you can see, it's just a D sharp minor chord, but I'm just using the notes to do something cool like that. And again, you can octave jump it too, which might not sound as good, but we'll see. Again, the thing with that is that it becomes a pain in the butt to mix the bass line when you do octave jumps like that because your fundamental on the bottom shifts up. But melodic fills is a good way to kind of just add, again, more excitement to the bass melody because these are the things that are going to break the loop. The key thing, again, is not to become the one-trick pony guy where you're constantly doing it. Save it for crucial moments in the track where you're like, okay, it's starting to get a little boring here. I'm going to add this in. That's the way to execute, but melodic fills are a great way to kind of do this. And again, the other thing we can do is just little little things like generic. Let's see. Okay, so melodic fills is another great way to do it. You execute them, just again, tread carefully, don't overdo it. This leads me to my next tip, and that is going to be bass accentuation. So a lot of you guys will grab one bass, and some of you guys might layer the bass lines, but you never think about layering the bass lines in certain moments, not constantly. And that is what I mean by bass accentuation. So obviously the bass, you can consider it a melody, and maybe it's not like a Mozart melody, but it's a booty shaking one. But you can accentuate certain parts of it to make it pop, make it more interesting, and add more to the groove. So one of the cool things I decided to do for some of the old Deceiver packs, volume 3 and 2 actually, is to implement bass additive shots. And these are going to be shots that are not going to be good to carry the song, but they're going to be good to accentuate certain parts of the bass. So for this, I'm going to use probably the more generic one, which from Chaos Control, which is going to sound like so. So the idea is that we can accentuate parts of the bass with these shots. So for instance, I might decide to do like a wub, but instead of the wub, and we're going to have, and then just certain parts of the bass that adds to the rhythm. Again, just doing that. Again, don't overdo it because you can easily F it up, obviously. You can scandalize it. And then again, you can also mess with this maybe longer if you want, or even octave low. Okay, and again, the cool thing about this is right now I'm doing more of the cop-out, which is easily like, that's common sense that you might want to accentuate on these strong beats where like, boom, right up when it starts. But again, you can do it on any part. Let's see, not that one. Again, think of it as a rhythm. And then again, don't want to overdo it. That's the key. And again, just note. And again, just that. So bass accentuation. Yeah. Now the cool thing here is I can again even grab any other sort of bass. And the idea is just to accentuate. You don't even have to hear it like that to feel what it adds. We'll leave it like that. Okay. Again, we'll try another one. This one maybe a little less because it does have reverb and delay, so we can do that. Okay, Okay, so bass accentuation is a super cool trick that you can do. Simple to execute, but sounds complex in nature to an extent. Last tip I have for you guys is portamento or pitch bend. So the portamento trick is probably one of my favorites, and I actually enjoy it a lot more than doing pitch bends, but in reality, eventually it's the same thing. It's just less chances of messing it up is the key. So let's go into this unreleased pack right here, and we'll go with Nasty Thing. Let's add a bit of FM. Like, that sounds pretty good. And let's make something very simple, like basic chorded. All right, I gotta wave to you guys. You know how it is. Okay, so we're just gonna Command U and roboticize it. Okay, so we have this. Okay, let's make sure this part elongates further. So utilizing this trick is pretty simple, and it's just basic sound design. So what we're going to do is increase the portamento to very high, like 2 seconds. And the reason for this is because we want to do these legatos where the note sort of changes, but it doesn't change enough to a certain note to change the melody. And from there, we can add these cool portamento. Okay, so that's, again, you can see it's too much, so let's increase it. And the thing is, you're gonna make the bass come to fucking life. Like it's like depending on what you want to do. So we can do. Listen. And again, let's be careful because when we slide the notes overlap, that's when it's gonna kick in. And let's see if we can even go further. Again, you could do that. Again, you're kind of messing it up. Okay, and then let's do that. And then we can even add variation that way, like where it's maybe like now it's down. We'll do one up here, do one here. And again, just... Now, if we look at the tuner as we do this, which is the Ableton effect, just to see what key it is, you can see how it's going to be moving, shifting, and that's the cool thing about it. Okay, and then again, I mean, you could even take it further to... There we go. And then from there, you can even take it portamento less. Play with the value. But that's something really cool that we can do in order to make it come to life. But other than that, guys, those are going to be some of the tips that I have for you guys to make your bass lines more exciting. If you like any of these, fucking dope. Go do it. Go use it. Go use it. Make a song with it. I'll be proud. But other than that, guys, if you want to support the channel, evolutionofsound.com, evilsounds.com is where you can find all of my sound design work. All of these sounds are there, except the bass lines that we just used here, because this is a pack I'm currently working on for you guys, which hopefully will be out by the end of the year, which hopefully you guys support. Other than that, you guys take care. You guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys next time for another video. Peace out. Much love.